Thank you, Alex, for that introduction. Thank you, band, for that drum. I grew up on the southeast side of Cleveland, Ohio, and I used to call my neighborhood the wasteland. Vacant lots and abandoned buildings dotted the streets. In front of my eyes, a vacant church on my corner morphed into a drug house. Without any stores or businesses in sight for blocks, the whole area seemed barren. My family struggled financially my entire childhood. We were in and out of different houses and shelters. I didn't have many friends because we moved around so much. But there was one thing that was constant: a school. Despite my financial troubles at home, school was the one thing I looked forward to every day. Mr. Swift, short-haired, tiny, full of spunk, told me to always think, even when it felt like my head would explode. And Mr. Smith, he was tall, funny, and the only person to always wear a tie. He used to always say, if you aren't asking questions, you aren't learning. Always ask questions. My teachers created an academic environment for me, and I embraced it and loved it. They taught me to read, to write, and to think critically. They taught me the discipline I needed to study long and hard. And they offered me a shoulder to lean on when I feel like the weight of the world might crush me. They taught me to question the world as it was and to speak up for myself. They taught me the skills I needed to become a better person in a world still laced with racial inequality, where my college peers would be afraid of me if I wear my hood, or where taxis would turn off their lights and ride right past me at night. School was my community, and even when I switched schools and teachers, I still felt the connection with the idea of learning from passionate teachers. The academic and character skills a few excellent teachers imparted in me altered the course of my life. That's what Teach for America calls transformational change. But as an adult, I realized that I paid a certain price for that transformational change. Over Christmas break, I drove around my old neighborhood in Cleveland. More abandoned buildings, more vacant lots. There were 2 more abandoned houses on my street. I felt an overwhelming weight of despair, and I felt like an outsider in my own community. I felt like an outsider because I no longer lived there, and after my college education, I could not relate to this place and these people. Most of all, I felt powerless. I felt powerless because I wanted to change, but I couldn't change any of the social economic issues that plagued me growing up. I wanted to help this place. I wanted to help these people, my people, but I couldn't. How did this happen? How could this happen? The answer is simple. I had always been pushed to pursue the academic and the career opportunities outside of my community. They taught me that this was the only way I could be successful. They taught me that the only way I could be successful was to leave my community. A good education was my ticket out. But what about the community I left behind? Now I think about Joshua. Joshua was in my 2nd grade class last year, and he's back in it again. He's a sweet boy with some moments of misbehavior. We all have a Joshua. Sometimes he's frustrated, comes to school with a scrunched up face, tears burning in his eyes because of seemingly insignificant things. Little things can upset him, like someone accidentally taking his pencil. But those little things matter to him. In a world where so much is unstable and out of his control, these little details matter so much. I thought I could seize this moment. I thought I could show him that school can be a refuge for him that it was for me. I told him, I lived in a shelter too. I told him, I know how hard it is. I told him, I know how you feel. Looking in his eyes, I can tell that he believed me and appreciated our bond. I reminded him that school and education was his key to success, his way out. Way out. What was he escaping from? From poverty? From his community. I realized I was teaching Joshua to believe in his school as both his ticket to success and his ticket out. I was perpetuating that same cycle of escape. I think about my life. I think about Joshua's life, and I think about our Teach for America movement. My teachers did everything they could to teach me to study, to think critically, and to question the world. They gave me the skills, encouraged my curiosity, and put me on the right path. But in no one's mind, not even my own, was my community taking into consideration. We focus, and rightfully so, on giving our students the tools they need to become high school graduates and college graduates. And we must continue to do this, especially considering how low the high school graduation rate is for black males. Only 28% in New York City and 47% in the entire country. Not to mention the college graduation rate, which stands at an abysmal 9%. The goal of pursuing an education is inspiring and purposeful, but it's not enough to equip our children with the academic and character skills to be successful individuals. We must also encourage and charge them to give back to their communities and to make a difference in their communities. For if they don't, who will? We have to teach our students to be community leaders and community builders. In New York City, we have roughly 500 Corps members. We directly impact about 26,000 students. In a city with 8 million people, 1.1 million of which are students, our quantitative impact seems limited. But this impact is truly unlimited. When Joshua was in high school, he can start a tutoring program for the children in his neighborhood. The students behind me, Melissa students, can go on to be world-renowned musicians one day. Aaron students can go on to start another chapter of Mission Strength. Stephanie students can go to be local doctors. Mike students can run for the local school board. When we, as we do, teach our students to become thoughtful, concerned citizens, they will grow to solve the problems that plague them and their communities. Let's be deliberate about teaching them to change the world one neighborhood at a time. And then we, ourselves, have a lot of work to do. As we all know, the fight for educational equity does not end in the classroom. Teachers have an enormous impact, but there are so many other factors. Some of us can't sleep at night because we're worried about our 10th grade students. We're worried that they'll get diabetes because there are no healthy food options in our neighborhood. Some of us cry about our 5th graders. We cry about our 5th graders because they have to take care of themselves. Because dad's an addict and mom has to work a day job and a night job just to make ends meet. Some of us know how it feels to be that ELL student who learned to speak English from watching TV and can't read or write. And some of us wonder, what will happen to our students when they are no longer in our classroom? How can our students focus on learning in crumbling schools, in crumbling neighborhoods, in a crumbling economy that offers them few opportunities for decent jobs even after they graduate from high school and college? That's why we're confused. Slightly tormented, if you wish. We love our students. We want the best for them. But we want our impact to be greater. but how can we make that impact? I know why I signed up for Teach for America, but I'm already feeling tired. The burden is so great. Lesson plan, parent phone calls, grade team meetings, grading, cleaning, graduate school. The tedious repetitiveness of the day-to-day grind has sometimes left me questioning. What am I doing here? How much longer can I keep this up? One thing that has kept me grounded is my passion. I know I have made a difference in Joshua's life. We all know we have made a difference in the lives of our students. We focus so much on our students, but after a while, fatigue settles in and wears us down. But our passion for our students can keep us connected to these communities, and at the same time, keep us trudging forward. We all have different talents and skills. Each and every one of us can benefit our students' community directly and indirectly. For some of us, that means staying in the classroom, but not for all of us. One of the biggest critiques against Teach for America is that only a few of us stay in the classroom. A recent study showed that about half of us teach for a third year. So what does that mean for the rest of us? We're in the unique position of being able to go out and be advocates for our students outside of the classroom. If our students' charge is to change their communities, then our charge is to change the community we've become passionate about. Whether we go into politics, business, medicine, law, the arts, or education, we all have a role to play in the fight for educational equity. After our core members' experience, we have a taste of what is needed in these communities. Our charge is to figure out what resources our students need to be able to build up and sustain their communities. Students like Joshua need to be able to build up and sustain their communities. We need more business people creating jobs in America. We need more doctors. We need more doctors committed to providing quality health care for all. We need more politicians invested in making education a priority. We need to work together to build up these communities, our communities. The wood and nails are out on the street. Let's start building. One day, my neighborhood back in Cleveland will thrive with businesses and stable residents. One day, Joshua will graduate from college with honors and return to work in his community. One day, our students will attend generously funded schools and be healthy enough and happy enough to focus on their studies. One day, we will not need to teach for America. One day, America will teach for itself. Thank you.